Which Hart showed to be the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. In this brand, at least.
This is what's NXT. Oakley dokley. Yeah, it's a long intro, but thank goodness, because I wasn't sure that we were actually broadcasting, but now I know that we are. We've got 5 people watching. That's cool. That's a hell of a number to start out with. Thank you guys for joining us. We are here to review NXT. I'm your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Happy recommending day, folks.
Welcome to What's NXT. So we start off our show strong. We've got the 6-woman ladder match for the #1 contendership for the NXT Women's Championship. And even stronger, Io Shirai comes out first.
Absolutely.
Great entrance, even when there's no people there. She still is pissed off. And she still does that draping move over the top rope that she does, and the cameraman had a much better angle this time, and I was impressed. First 35 seconds of this show, and I'm damned impressed. So we
also have Mauro Ranallo doing commentary tonight
by himself. Cheers to Mauro Ranallo. This might be some of the best commentary that I've seen in a long time.
He pretty much heard. I'm about to say he pretty much kicked the shit out of Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton's work.
So we get Tegan Nox come out, and then we get Robert Stone come out to no music, and then introduce Chelsea Green to music and a really ugly new entrance logo. But it's fine because it's Chelsea Green and she's fine. Now, right after Mia Yim comes out, we get cut off. So we had YouTube TV because Aaron added us to his plan, which was really cool of him. But turns out when it comes to live NXT on USA on Wednesday nights, he watches that plus AEW, and then Meacham's in California watching, and so there's too many people on the family plan on the television.
So the black sheep got cut from the plan.
So we missed Candice LeRae coming out and Dakota Kai coming out, who also comes out with Raquel Gonzalez, we come to find out. And we also missed the first several minutes of this match while we disconnected from that, and I went and got my own plan free for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll see if I keep it for $50 a month, though. Holy shit. Ugh. Anyway.
It'll be beneficial if you're just going to be around here.
After we come back, there's actually not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, we see some moves. Like, I noted a choke slam by Dakota Kai, which was kind of cool. But mostly just the same kind of stuff until I think it was Chelsea Green misses a kick and ends up draping over this ladder that's being draped on the middle ropes in the corner, if you know what I'm talking about, like diagonal to the corner. And she gets drop kicked into that. No, chair gets smashed over her leg.
Yeah.
And so now she is selling this leg from that point on, like she is screaming. And I think Green, or not Green, what's the dude's name? Stone. I think Stone is outside trying to do the Mr. Miyagi thing on her knee or something.
Oh, yeah, at one point he's fanning it with a book.
Meanwhile, eventually Io Shirai gets a top. And she goes up top. And Reina Gonzalez sees that nobody is there to prevent this from happening. So she gets in the ring and pushes Io Shirai and the ladder over. Io Shirai just kind of skips off the top rope and dives onto everybody outside.
That was just a great spot.
Ah, beautiful.
Perfect.
Beautiful. We get back from a break. And Raquel is now in the ring just throwing everybody out, not letting anybody get in. Eventually, she goes outside, picks up Kairi Sane, brings her back in the ring. Dakota Kai, sorry. Brings her back in the ring, puts her on her shoulders, and starts climbing the ladder, puts her up there.
And such a cool part for a spot that didn't happen.
Again, eventually Yim pulls Raquel off and then hits a power bomb on her from the corner. They're on the apron on the outside, coming off the top. She's trying to power bomb her off the top, and she's not letting it happen.
And Tegan Knox comes over and helps with the choke.
Yeah, does a choke slam into a power bomb through a table to the outside.
And that's the last we see of Yim.
That is the last we see of Yim, and I think that's the last we see of... No, Dakota Kai comes back, surprisingly. Mm-hmm. Oh, but that's the last we see of Raquel.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dakota Kai kicks Knox off the second rope. She goes through a ladder on the outside.
I think that was the sickest bump in the entire match.
Definitely. And now everybody's down. Robert Stone comes in, climbs the ladder so that he can help pull Green to the top. But eventually, Io Shirai and Candice LeRae both push the ladder over, and they both go tumbling out. And then, let's see. Io Shirai and Candice LeRae are the last two standing. They get to the top of the ladder.
Which is awesome because they had such a great match in Toronto.
But it was very noticeable how they angled the ladder the direction that it was supposed to go. So they get to the top, and you know what's going to happen because Candice LeRae is on the side. That ladder that's been draped over the middle ropes in the corner has been for the whole
beginning of the match.
At least for us.
It would shock me if Io Shirai actually put it there before we actually tuned into the show.
Candice LeRae takes fingers to the eyes. Yeah, Io Shirai eye gouges her and pushes her off the top through or into the table. She doesn't really go through it.
Ladder.
And climbs the ladder and retrieves the briefcase. Mm-hmm. And Io Shirai, as I predicted and several others last week, Io Shirai is moving on to face Charlotte Flair, of all fucking people. But we won't talk about that just yet. In the meantime, let's talk about Finn Balor. We get some recaps.
Who we met in Toronto.
This is true. That's right. That's why it's here, so we can remind you guys.
Yep.
One of the greatest moments of our lives.
Such a random ass moment, too.
Yeah, super awesome. We get a video cap from 2 months ago of Imperium's Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel coming out on NXT to basically issue a challenge or make a statement to Finn Balor
just to deliver a message
of Walter. And they did so. And then Finn Balor answers back by last month invading NXT UK. Not really invading. I mean, he told him he was coming.
Yeah, he just kind of...
He showed him his passport.
Yep.
Anyway, we get both of these recaps. We also get the end of the match that Finn Balor ended up having on NXT UK with Alexander Wolf of Imperium.
They put on Clinic that night. That was really great.
And this leads into a Finn Balor promo. Now, this wasn't in the ring. Didn't need to be because there's no crowd anyway. This was one of those good ones they have in the back where it's sort of selfie promo, but better camera than your phone's got. He says that all of this stuff that's preventing them from making the next move in each one of their games
will eventually end.
This will end. Or he said, this soon shall pass. He said the title that he holds, though, in talking about Walter and the UK Championship, is on borrowed time. I thought this was pretty direct.
Yeah.
Very short. Didn't need to be long. And
but I'm wondering how this is going to come into play now, since we have Dragunov being like the next challenger to Walter at this point.
If he's in NXT or in the UK right now, and Walter's in the UK right now, then they could possibly have that match in front of no crowd and get that over with before all of this sanction bullshit's up, and we can finally have Finn Balor versus Walter. That's how that is.
For all we know, Balor's still overseas.
That probably was the intention to begin with, was to have the winner of that battle royal be just some guy Walter faces on his way to Finn Balor.
Yep. So we could have either Balor interfere in the match and cost Dragunov the match, or we can have him show up after Walter dispatches Dragunov.
Yeah. Any of the above is fine with me. Now we get a video recap of Indu's Share attacking Matt Riddle 2 weeks ago, making a statement, obviously because Pete Dunne wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, 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 whatever. These guys, okay, it's not induce share like induce labor and share your candy. Like it's
Indu Share.
INDUS, induce, share, SHER, which means...
I did research!
Go ahead, tell them what it means, Jerry.
I don't remember.
Hindu Tiger.
Yes.
Led by Malcolm Bivens. This is Rinku and Sarab, or Sarab. I'm not sure if it's ends in the A or ends in AB. I'm not sure yet. It's hard to tell. All we had was Mauro Ranallo saying it, so I guess his way of saying it, I'm not quite so sure. Anyway.
Well, Ranallo's always right, too. We have to go with
I think
that.
our logo's fading.
Yeah, that's cool. There we go.
Nope.
Oh, now it's gone.
That made it worse. We need more light, folks.
Yep.
Patreon.com/Stefan R. Osborne. If you want to help the show, help me get some better lighting. There you go.
Maybe some of those umbrella-looking
That could help.
things.
In the meantime, these big motherfuckers are facing, and we were like, who?
Yeah, who are they going to face?
Who could it possibly be? Everrise.
We haven't seen these guys in forever.
Matt Martell, Chase Parker. And these guys had a much longer match with Induced Share than they should have had.
Yeah.
They had a longer match than a lot of the teams in NXT UK that have gotten wins before should have had against these two big fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
They got an insane amount of offense in. They were actually somewhat impressive.
I would like to know what the history is between the two of these guys. Have they been a tag team before, and if so, how long?
Oh, they've been over a decade. They live together and everything else.
Okay.
Because we actually joked on one the last time we had on the show.
So then I am... No, not Everrise. I'm talking about...
Oh, I thought you were talking about Everrise.
Indu's Share.
No, these guys are brand new together.
Okay, so I am semi-impressed with them if they are green together. But if they were like Everrise and they had been together for 10 years and this is the show they put on, like, wow, what have you been doing for 10 years?
They didn't really have to put on a spectacle because A, there's no crowd, but at the same time you want to be able to make your first impression a good one, and they made a moderate impression. They're two big guys. They're throwing around these two littler guys.
But so clunky.
Mm-hmm.
I give them credit. The finisher that they do at the end of the match, which, spoiler alert, they fucking finished the match with it because they were going to win. Duh. Dadoy.
Dadoy.
This pendulum backbreaker with the elbow drop off the middle rope, first of all, completely unoriginal. I don't think you should be ready to debut as a tag team unless you have a finishing move together that is more original than that.
Especially with two big dudes like that.
Rushing these guys out the door, dude.
You think it'd be some sort of power move? Hell, I take the double power bomb instead of the triple power bomb by the Shield. Just have both of them just pick them up almost like a last ride power bomb and throw them down like that.
Double choke slam. Double sky high.
Oh, double sky high would be sweet.
But not that.
We don't get that though.
Not that.
No.
First of all, I don't understand putting a move off of the corner, off of the middle turnbuckle, into the move because these are two big guys. That's not the addition that you should add to a regular move. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to add that, don't do the one everybody does. At least do the leg drop. Only a few people do the leg drop. Everybody does the elbow drop. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of being underwhelmed by the move set. I understand, especially with new people, being underwhelmed by their skills on the mic, their charisma in the ring, but their move set, man. Don't give me a vanilla guy that does nothing but just the moves you don't even have to unlock on the video games. You know what I'm saying? The moves that everybody does, they're generically named because everybody uses them.
They're supposed to be like the future of the company, and they're pretty much living in the past.
And these guys are just clubbing away at the other two. And if that's what they're going to be like these big, heavy strikers that are just going to pound people down until they do then this should have been a way shorter match.
Mm-hmm. This should have been more or less a squash.
Oh man.
No offense whatsoever from the other team.
I hope somebody with some sense of how to use these guys gets a hold of them,
Yeah.
because just their look alone. I like the fact that they've got Malcolm Bivens, because neither one of them needs to be good on the mic yet.
He's a good mouthpiece for them. And let's acknowledge Morrow saying Malcolm in the middle. That was pretty great.
I guess I'm more disappointed with these guys because I have way more hope for a team that looks like them than I do for, let's say, a Pretty Deadly, who has a fine enough gimmick but just doesn't look like they can Anyway. All right, let's move on. Adam Cole is doing a promo. This is supposedly earlier today. He's in somebody's backyard.
He's probably in his backyard.
He's got a pool inside of a greenhouse.
Yeah.
I think.
Dude's rich.
Big dome over his pool.
The Panama City Playboy.
So he doesn't have to worry about social distancing because nobody can get in his pool.
He's in his bubble.
I think he says that Velveteen Dream got lucky by beating Bobby Fish last week. And if he ever had if he ever decided for some odd reason to face Velveteen Dream, obviously he would win. But Velveteen Dream has done nothing to earn a championship opportunity.
You know what that says to me? Kyle O'Reilly probably within the next week.
I don't know, man. This is the last TV tapings that we know of for sure.
Yeah.
We don't know that they have any content moving forward yet. So I don't want to be sure about anything. By the time they actually get around to doing something with the NXT Championship, they might have decided in a completely different direction. Save this for a live crowd. I don't know. But we'll see. Hopefully we get the match at some point anyway.
I would like to see Velveteen Dream versus Kyle O'Reilly first. That way he would have gone through all the members of Undisputed Era.
Yeah, but... Okay, let alone the fact that it's Velveteen Dream and the shit that he does and the gimmick he makes a non-crowd match okay. Just he does so. He sold
like crazy on that Bobby Fish match.
But Adam Cole, without the crowd,
yeah,
half of his charisma is gone.
There's no screen of Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, the crowd is always like half of it. Like he doesn't get stats until he walks out and this crowd starts anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on because I don't want to talk about this match and not be sure that it's going to happen. Yeah. Honestly. NXT Cruiserweight Champions. Oh, here's another thing that pisses me off.
Here we go.
So we get an announcement that the NXT Cruiserweight Championship is going to be suspended, sort of, from Jordan Devlin. They're going to find an interim champion because Jordan Devlin can't come back in the foreseeable future to defend the championship.
I don't see why they're putting such a rush on it.
And I'm like, I have seen champions go months without defending the title.
And this is a different set of circumstances too. It's not like he's playing hooky or some shit.
So we're going to get a tournament. I don't know how many people are going to be in this tournament, but it's going to start next week. Now we have seen video footage of Jordan Devlin responding to this, and he seems understanding, but at the same time,
he's like, whoever ends up winning the belt, just cherish it while you can, because he's going to come right and get it.
He still seems justifiably pissed off, but he's like, it really doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter who it is. They'll win an interim belt, but when I'm finally able to come back over there and take it from him, I'm going to come back over there and take it from him. And
they'll hold up two belts like
yeah, they'll have a ladder match with both belts up top.
And it'll be awesome.
I'm hoping against all hope that the interim belt, they just decide to change it a little or something. I hope it's orange. I know it went from purple to black, and now it looks pretty sweet and suave in black and silver. But I'm hoping that they just do some funky shit, and they're just like, interim belt, orange, and then make the belt so I can buy it. Because I don't know if you folks know, but I have this...
he has a sick obsession with orange to the point where that's what he's drinking right now.
And lighting my cigarettes with an orange light. I love it.
It's weird. It's horrible.
So, That is starting next week. So either they have already taped matches or they're planning at some point soon to tape some matches
They could
with no
easily
crowd.
they could easily tape a couple matches since they still have the empty arenas and still stay within the boundaries of what they need to stay.
Change the commentary
In. Yeah.
and just re-air the Cruiserweight Classic.
Well, that would kind of make sense, seeing as our last match that we had this evening.
Let's see. You started with 8 matches, so pull 4 of those matches where hopefully you have the rights to use those 4 characters or 8 characters and go from there. Just pull a swerve, man, and then when you finally do come back live, be like, I don't know what happened, and then Skeet Scott comes out. And he's like, swerve! And he's like, I'm the new champion because I said so. Like, I don't know.
That would make a little bit of sense.
No, it would make no sense at all, but it's still better than what we're probably going to get.
Yeah.
Until Jordan Devlin comes back and beats whoever the interim champion is.
Speaking of Cruiserweight Classic, though, it all started there, and now we're here. Ciampa and Gargano. One final beat.
Well, before we go
Oh,
there...
that's right. The women's...
That's always me. I'm always the one moving on ahead of time and skipping shit. Oh, finally I get to be like...
This was such a sad moment, though.
Well, I have 3 little fucking notes for this because each one was a different thing. Okay, first we get a video recap of Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. It's not a full match, but they get the spots in.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the recap that we got on Monday Night Raw of Charlotte Flair interviewing after the match and saying, what'd she say? Just some stuff?
Yeah, the suit doesn't make the man makes the suit. And it's just like the title doesn't make the woman makes the title.
And she's the queen.
Woo!
Everybody's going to bow to the queen. Now we get some new footage. Rhea Ripley, backstage, after the match,
Crying,
saying
she was better than I thought.
Yeah, she was better than I thought.
And that's the only words we get out of her. No excuses, no, demanding a rematch or anything. Just that was it.
So she's definitely a baby face now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no question. I mean, I'm sure they've been pushing her like that since she came back to beat Baszler, but she's been this badass, like sort of tweener almost. But nah, she's been crying on television, and that ends that.
And not even in that whining, crying thing. This was really sympathetic.
Look, she's sad. I have a shoulder. I have a beard she can wipe her tears on while she's crying in my shoulder. I don't know. So, now, that brings us to the main event. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. This has been billed as what? One final beat.
Mm-hmm.
And
Blackheart versus Rebel Heart.
What I like to call an empty arena match. And
this was emptier than the usual empty arena.
This was 57 fucking minutes. I mean, that includes the commercial break. So total, it was probably more like
45,
38 to 40.
I'd say about 40 minutes.
It depends on how much footage they cut in between takes where the commercials go.
But they went totally cinematic with this one, just like the Raw.
Cinematic, but an actual match.
Yeah.
And an actual, like, almost like the, not no disqualification, but last man standing match where they went around the ring and did some stuff. They even went outside and got on top of a truck.
Yeah.
This was a box truck.
But it was. I'm going to say this right now. It was better than the last man standing match.
Yeah. Except they really didn't do anything famous on the top of the box truck.
No.
They just eventually got back down. But like this was really well done. I still don't think it warrants the amount of time it took.
No.
But before I break down, I got a bunch of shit here, man. What were your thoughts on the main event?
I like the way it was filmed. I like the spots that we had in it. I like the back talking back and forth between Gargano and Ciampa. It wasn't completely overdone. And wow, we actually have viewers.
Yeah, nothing was loading in the chat, but I reloaded the chat. Now I have Israel Diaz. Shout out to our greatest fan.
Yeah.
I didn't cut him off though, so that's not on me.
Oh no, that's
Go
fine.
ahead, keep going.
No, I was about to say, is there more?
Cleaver said, "So happy I picked EO definitely need this point after last week. Israel says, I'm jumping ahead, but it sucks with the current situation of the NXT Cruiserweight Champion. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that sucks. I honestly don't know. Maybe they're expecting this to last longer than I am.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why they're just taking the title and making an interim champ. Unless they're just like, this is an opportunity to do something off of it, and here's what we do.
Mm-hmm. But this match had pretty much everything I expected to have in it, short of a knee brace, because I figured that'd be in the laundry basket of doom with a whole bunch of, with the rest of the everything else.
Laundry cart.
Yeah,
Instead of a shopping cart, they had a laundry cart full of all the stuff. You had the trash can lid. You had Tommaso Ciampa's crutch, the one that's taped over with the... Actually, you know what? I didn't see a crutch the whole match. It must have been camouflaged or something.
But hear me out, folks. I was looking at that and I was thinking, hell, this would be an awesome idea for a match. It'd be called the Dirty Laundry Match. You'd have to use all the weapons in that basket and then like incapacitate your opponent to the point where they get tossed into it and pushed up the ramp, kind of like a stretcher match. Just throwing it out there. NXT's always doing different new matches. We had that weapons in a cage one, and why not?
Why not take him out to the cleaners?
Take him out to the cleaners match. I even like that better.
Take him to the cleaners match.
Yep.
Okay, so we start this, and we guessed it was going to be cinematic from the beginning because we start with Johnny Gargano driving up.
Yep.
And he gets out. Candice LeRae gets out of the other side and hands him something. She hands him, and I swear to God, okay, if you already know what happened in this match, I swear to God, I wrote down, gives him a tiny package. Gives him a tiny package, man. Oh my God. Okay. So he goes into this building. Triple H is in the ring. Tommaso Ciampa's already there. He's early. He's ready. He says, this is it. I've got Drake here. He's in charge. Do as he says.
Pretty much it has to end in the ring. That's the only real rule.
It ends in the ring, but it ends here. It goes no further. Mark's Review says, good show tonight. Cleaver says, what a main event. I love the lighting of this match. Yeah, they use that heavy light to the camera to get that awkward silhouette a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, so Triple H says, as soon as he leaves the building and that door shuts, it begins. And it ends when Drake says it does in the ring. So they start fighting. And of course, because there's a chair in the ring. Triple H, I think, left a chair in the ring.
Yeah, he just dropped it right in the middle. Almost like, go ahead and use this first.
Tommaso Ciampa kicks it away. He's like, you and me. That's all we need. And you're losing.
I was about to say, like, he kicks away a chair, but uses everything under God's green earth after that.
So they fight forever. And then my first note here is Ciampa doing a vertical forward suplex, a forward throw out of a vertical into the ring post on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
That was sick looking.
Skip ahead. Ciampa powerbombs Gargano through the table, and then gets some shears and bolt cutters and starts cutting the ring skirt away, only to cut the ring mat cover away and peel away a corner of the ring, exposing the wood below.
All the while, Drake's trying to convince him. It's like, you don't need to do this, man. How long you guys been friends? Blah, blah, blah.
Eventually, they fight outside because Johnny leads the way. He leaves the building and Ciampa follows him outside. They battle. He knocks Ciampa into the side of the box truck and rolls this big box toward him. Ciampa dodges it, rolls underneath, climbs up top. Johnny climbs up top after Drake again comes out. What are you doing? Get back inside. And then
it's chilly out.
Ciampa says some insults to Johnny, who climbs up top, and then they fight a little bit. Johnny even gets a Gargano escape on the top of the box truck.
Mm-hmm.
But Drake's like, I'm not going to... What?
This ain't going to end out here. he's like, let it go, Johnny. And Johnny's like, no. He's like, seriously, Johnny, let it go. No, let it go, Johnny. Okay.
Yeah, he can't stand to hear the same command 3 times. Yeah, shout out to Will Ferrell. Love that movie. Anyway, we move on from there. We end up going back inside where Johnny Gargano again leads the way, but this time he climbs that mini set of bleachers and attacks Ciampa when he comes back out, kicks him, and then jumps off into Ciampa through a table. So we get our second table spot.
That was a high tree attack.
Ciampa gets back on top though, and eventually he hits an air raid crash onto Johnny Gargano from the middle rope over, like on the apron side, to the outside. Now they didn't show him landing, so you know they landed on some boxes or something. But they immediately cut to the ground and they landed, or they looked like exactly how they should have been.
It looks like they both took a bump right as, like, just to show that they actually hit. Which it was cut together perfectly.
This is great. I like the fact that they didn't do it from the top rope.
Yeah.
Because if it was gonna be staged and safe, then why not go from the top rope? Because then it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Then you're like, dude, he just killed Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, that would have been a little too much.
Broke his fucking neck.
And like, what I love most about this, like, and I was gonna reference this while we were talking, was at that point, right after that, Drake gets between him, and he's like, "Calm down, guys, calm down." It reminds me of the end of the cripple fight, like on South Park between Timmy and Jimmy.
Break it up,
okay, you guys, break it up.
Cripple fight. So, eventually, Johnny gets back up from that, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
They get back in the ring. They're fighting some more. And at some point, Johnny Gargano has beaten Ciampa with, I think, the crutch. Beat him with something. And he says to him so loudly, "Willow's gonna thank me for this."
Yep.
Before he goes for that, like, his final shot or whatever. And that pisses Ciampa off, who just attacks. And he goes the fuck off on Johnny. And that's just half my notes, folks.
Mm-hmm.
See, Israel Diaz says, maybe AJ could take some pointers from this match. Seriously, I think for a cinematic match, this was great. But it was still yet different from what we got from the Raw and SmackDown cinematic matches, respectively, the Funhouse versus the Boneyard match. This was actually still in a ring.
Yeah.
Like, it was an actual wrestling setting. And cinematic still yet, but again, 57 minutes, Jesus.
And all the while, you're also still sitting there thinking about all the history between these two, because you keep on getting all these different callbacks to their matches.
So, Ciampa hits a high knee misses a high knee to Gargano and takes out Drake.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, oh, well, what's the point? Because everything's legal. It's like, oh yeah, somebody's going to get a pinfall that's not going to get counted. Sure enough, Ciampa hits the Widow's Bell onto the exposed part of the ring, and there's nobody to count to 3. So that was the spot where he should have won, which leads you to believe he's probably not going to win, right?
There was this like really, I'm going to go ahead and call it tender moment after that, because he sits up and Gargano puts his hand on top of Ciampa's, and Ciampa just kind of looks at it for a second. Almost looks like he's got a little bit of like regret, and then he pulls the hand away.
Yeah, I missed that spot.
It was just really.
I got back in, and Johnny Gargano super kicks Tommaso Ciampa, who answers back with a high kick, and then both are holding pieces of that
broken crutch.
I think Johnny Gargano's got the big piece. Tommaso Ciampa's got the little piece.
He's got the Tiny Tim crutch.
Yeah, like he's about to stab somebody through the eye hole.
Or just scream, "God bless us, everyone." One of the two.
They both nail each other at the same time and go down. This is where Candice LeRae shows up. She comes in, gets in the ring, starts yelling at the both of them. What are you doing? What the hell are you doing, actually? And she looks at Johnny.
That's my husband.
She looks at Johnny and she says, "Who are you? Are you happy now?" She asks Ciampa, "I hate my husband now. Are you happy?" She says, "Finish it. Just finish it. Go for it." And he won't. At this point, he's so torn. And she's like, Fine, I'll finish it. Turns around and kicks Gargano square in the beanbag.
In the Garganuts.
Hurts, don't it?
Call back.
She kicks him in the balls. He goes down. And she says, there, now you can finish it. And she leaves. And Ciampa doesn't know what to do. He is super conflicted. He sits there for a minute. Eventually, he works his way over. He can barely even touch Johnny Gargano. Eventually, he grabs him up. He picks him up on and starts just saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And then he gets him up. And just as Johnny Gargano gets to his feet, he says, I'm sorry, too. And Ciampa's like, what? And there's Candice LeRae behind Tommaso Ciampa, kicks him squay in the bang. I don't know what a bang is. Right in the balls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she kicks him in the balls from behind. And about 2 minutes earlier, when Jerry reminded me, well, the match isn't over because we got to see what Johnny Gargano's got that Candice LeRae gave him at the beginning of the match. I'm like, she gave him a small package, tiny package, I believe I wrote. And she kicked him in the ball. I was like, dude, she gave him a cup. Finally, somebody references the cup that you need when someone's going to hit you in the balls. Mm-hmm. AJ Styles definitely could have taken some tips from this match, and now I see what you're saying. Israel. Mm-hmm. Gotcha, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, AJ Styles definitely could have taken a tip. So, that's pretty much the end of the match, except for a fairy tale ending. Yep. Which was delivered by Johnny Gargano instead of Ciampa.
Onto the wood.
And he says, you lose. And after the 1, 2, 3, when Candice LeRae picks him up off, well, basically, takes him up off of the ring.
Yeah, whoa, easy there.
Yeah. And carries him outside to their car to leave. He says, we won. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they go to their car and they leave. And I was expecting
something. Killer
Cross, man. Nope. I guess they're saving him for a really important mid-card feud. He would have been a great person for Tommaso Ciampa to rebound off of this into a feud with. If he had just attacked him while he was down in the ring.
I'm thinking that could be the possibility. We'll get an in-ring interview with Ciampa, then Cross will show up.
Yeah, but they missed their opportunity to do something super amazing
right after
for his entrance to the program. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they've got this building that's got nobody in it, and they rented it out. Let's do some fireworks.
I'm about to say that would have actually been a much better.
Let's do some fucking pyro. Let's use all those lines of gasoline or whatever it was that they burned for. What was it? The torch match.
Yeah. Well, even then, I liked Colin's idea initially too. That he, Cross shows up and takes out both Gargano and Ciampa, but we didn't even get that.
Nothing.
So
we did get a mention of Killer Cross earlier, but it was just one of the same promo videos.
It's becoming more like the Millennium Clock by Jericho.
Only this time we know who it is. It's just a matter of when's he going to show. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the main event. And here on What's NXT, we like to rate the main event using good old-fashioned Jerry's
General 5-star rating.
5-star rating system. I didn't completely say it.
Nope.
That's for tomorrow, the good old-fashioned spot of NXT. But no, tonight it is the General's 5-star rating system. So, while you guys rate the main event in the chat room.
And any more questions.
I also want to welcome Mamba Never Dead. He says, Killer Cross is watching in the black car. Oh, yeah, there was some people in that black car. I was wondering about that.
So he's there. He's just not there.
So what do you rate the main event, sir?
I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4. And then another extra quarter for the ladder match because that was phenomenal. I don't want to give it anything extra for the tag match. So, but there was one spot that we didn't talk about in the match where Johnny Gargano went for a suicide dive and gets hit in the face with a trash can lid, and he just you hear him on the ground. He says, "Oh, you suck!" And I'm like, that's the exact reaction I would expect out of something like that. So I really enjoyed that. You know what? just for that moment, bump it up another quarter, 4.5 stars for me.
Yeah, I would definitely call this great. I'm gonna start it at 4.25 though,
Mm-hmm.
because of all of the story that has built up into this match. You know, I'm a story guy.
Oh yeah, you're all about the story.
The story they told in the match, especially there at the very end, gets an extra quarter of a star. And coming off of what I consider a great show, because even though it was underwhelming in their move set, but
It was effective.
I like the tag match because we finally got to see these two big Indian guys in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
I
only
guess
reason I
two
like it.
little
But
Canadian guys.
why not? And then we had the women's six person ladder match, which was not the best ladder match I've ever seen or anything, but it had some cool spots.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give it an extra quarter. Then I'm going to immediately take away for the fact that it was a 57-minute long fucking match. God, fuck, man. I mean, even if you'd have taken away the commercials, it would have still been longer than the Last Man Standing match. And you'd think they would have learned by then and edited some shit. Man,
Mm-hmm.
there's got to be some video promos or something that they could have put in there and taken up 10 minutes during this show. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to settle with you, 4.5 stars. I think that's still pretty good for a
Oh,
main event. But
definitely for something that's theoretically takeover but not takeover.
I would have called it damn near perfect. I would have called it a quarter star from perfect if it hadn't been so unreasonably long.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my criticism.
Do you think that's how this feud would have ended, like in an empty arena match, or do you think it would have been like a Falls Count Anywhere type scenario?
Could have been either.
I like how. Don't get me wrong. I like the way the whole match ended and everything, and I think that was the whole plan from the get go, is to have it end that way. But the fact that it's in an empty arena, I think they probably could have still had it in front of a crowd, and it would have been just as effective.
So that brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT. Thank you for joining us. Please join us tomorrow where we will be reviewing NXT UK episode 90, I believe.
But even then, it's just the best of, or the
Oh.
rise of NXT UK. We're probably gonna be watching.
So
the
I'm
first.
in outro mode. I completely botched that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God it's live and
Mm-hmm.
I can't edit and restart. Oh well. So tomorrow, what we are going to be doing is reviewing part 1 of tournament 1 of the NXT UK Championship tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
We plan to eventually review all of the both tournaments. So there's probably 4 parts, but part 1 and part 2 are just the first tournament, and we're gonna do the first round.
Yep.
I feel like we could probably get away with doing the whole thing, but it would be ridiculously long. It would take us 5 hours just to watch the shows.
And it's better on notes, and for us to still have stuff fresh in our minds to go on.
I feel like the status of NXT UK right now is up in the air because they are not only across the pond, so you say, from a lot of the guys that might be on the show, but they are also different countries within the same region. So if their borders are closed, then even I think Jordan Devlin tonight said he can't go to the
he can't go to England.
So it is going to be hell for them to put together a show because their people are scattered everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. We might need 4 weeks worth of programming to bring to you guys on Thursdays.
And there you go.
So this is our plan for now. If you have a better idea, leave it in the comments, especially if you'd like to be on that show. We would love to have you up on the big screen. Come join us for a spot of NXT. You can find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan.
Now you can go to outro mode.
Stefan, or if you just want to look me up, it's Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for a fuck ton of mouthful. It stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Fuckbomb Twitter.
At Gerald_JSJ, my Facebook group Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR.
Exclamation point.
Fucking hillbilly.
Just when you think you have all the answers, I change the culture.
We also have Aftermatch Wrestling on Facebook. That's a group I run. Then we have Aftermatch_Wrestling on Instagram that Colin Cleaver Andrew runs. And our Twitter page, Aftermatch Rest.
You take the lean out of wrestling.
Whatever the fuck that means.
That's our line for that.
Yep. He's also on Instagram.
Yeah, Osborne.Stefan. You can find him.
The_gentleman_slaughter.
And if you'd like to help the channel, if you have a few seconds, because we already plugged the Patreon. Nobody does it anyway, but it'd be nice if you could. But most people don't have money to just give it us. So how about some time? You have 30 seconds. Do me 2.5 favors. Click the like button, because that does help. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. That's the half favor. If you haven't already done it, then I guess it's a full favor. But
it makes sense that I'm on the half side.
And everybody, please click that share button. Help the channel grow, and the only way to do that is to get eyes on the product. I never thought I'd say I had a product, but sure, why not? If people like to watch NXT UK, they might like to watch us. And if they don't know about us, you guys can help them.
Yeah.
So,
do we have any more questions in the chat room?
Oh, cool. Let's see. First of all, for the main event, Colin gives it a 4.5. Nate Spain, welcome to the show, Nate Spain. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your rating. He gives it the full 7.4, 4.75. I'm dyslexic tonight. It's probably the alcohol. Israel Diaz agrees with us, 4.5. And let's see, the People's Wrestling Channel.
Oh, that guy?
He has not given it a rating, but oh well, that's cool. Colin says, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the review. Yeah, Colin should be joining us. If anybody out there wants to watch round 1 of tournament 1 for the NXT UK Championship, then watch it tomorrow and hit us up. If you missed it, all of the information's down there. For the General Jerry Slaughter, I am Whiz Fresh. I'm Stefan Osborne. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you